What up, y'all? Back again. I'm showing you these early photos where you're going to find that there's not a lot of people. And when you look at the size of these people to these structures, I mean, they may not be extremely tall, but look at the entranceways and how heavy and wide and the columns and all of those things. It would take some sort of special equipment. You can't chisel stuff like that out. They had a lot of either equipment or a way to supernaturally build these structures with some sort of heavenly magic or something. But regardless, this is when the reset was early on, and you're going to find there's just not a lot of people. And this is, I believe, in most of these are taken in Russia, maybe some from England, I don't know. But regardless, I've done some cities like I just did yesterday, which was St. Petersburg, it was built out for millions of people. And there's just no people, there's no life. And if there are people, there's just a few. And you could tell we dirtied up the buildings with tarps and things. There's not a whole lot of, real roads aren't cleared out like they are there, but the early on ones. And you'll find these are in HD almost, and they're not supposed to be. So we've definitely been told some fibs, that's for sure. The boats aren't really moving. If they are, it's just one. But we were not supposed to be able to build structures this grand. Well, we can't do it today, most of them. But regardless, especially back then for what we've been taught and told, okay? And we should have, for that amount of build out in cities, should have people all over the place. There isn't even animals. You don't see a whole lot of trees and stuff. You'll see a lot of just dirt, a lot of mud, like it was a catastrophe, or when it's just cleaned up. Regardless, though, the early on photos in the early 1800s, you're going to find that it's almost as if a rapture took place, and they were assessing the lands by taking photos of it first to find out what they were going to have to do to repair the roofs, to dig them out, and to decide what they're going to do with each structure. And then have artificial intelligence. They probably had computers back then, as it sounds crazy, but if you have fallen ones, they have technology, right? I mean, if they were here in the past and they had technology, they're going to come back in the future, like today, and they're going to know how to build those computers again, those cell phones again. Whatever has been will be again. There's not new under the sun, right? So they had to take pictures because God makes them tell the truth. And so they have to give it away somehow, depending on how keen you are to catch on to it. That's how this stuff works. But the horse and the wagon thing, besides these structures, with just a few people, and they're all sunk, and there's mud everywhere, it just doesn't add up, y'all. And that's just a few things that we're looking at out of the many thousand or many hundred things that add up to Millennial Kingdom past. I believe that there wasn't a rapture during the tribulation back in 70 AD, but there was a rapture before the little season and right before the mud flood. And I believe that when the enemy was loosed from the abyss, he came up through the ground, and the sound and the pressure of all that occurring caused liquefaction to occur. And I don't think there were any people on the earth at that particular time, except outside of the North Pole, maybe. And then the ice and the snow started to accumulate, there was no foliage, right? So I don't know. I guess that would cause a big environmental change for a period of time. Of course, the atmosphere changed, and the 7 times the sunlight, that started to go away. And then the cloak of sin dropped on everything again. I mean, in a heavy way. And then the first people that came back were real stoic. Makes you wonder if they're fallen ones that got loosed as well. And everything re-ramped up. And if our ancestors came out of Cabbage Patches, as crazy as it sounds, then nobody knew our history. And so they were taught a false one.